Every species on this planet evolves at roughly the same pace. Slow, grinding, generational. Bacteria mutate fast, but they're single cells rolling genetic dice trillions of times a day. Multicellular life plays a different game. Elephants take 22 years just to have one baby. And then there's us. Somehow, in evolutionary terms, we sprinted. From the first stone tools 3.3 million years ago to smartphones took almost no time by nature's clock. What if that speed wasn't the exception? What if it's about to happen again, faster than anyone is ready for? Here's the first thing that should unsettle you. We're not evolving the way our ancestors did anymore. Wild animals face constant pressure. Predators kill the slow ones. Disease kills the weak ones. Nature edits ruthlessly, generation after generation. Modern humans have removed almost all of that pressure. Global child mortality dropped from over 40% in 1800 to under 4% today. We didn't just survive better. We stopped letting nature choose who survives at all. Then there's the mutation problem. A flu virus mutates thousands of times inside a single infected person in just days. Humans mutate too, but painfully slowly by comparison. Each new human carries roughly 60 to 100 new genetic mutations compared to their parents. Out of 3 billion base pairs, that's a rounding error. At that pace, meaningful evolutionary change should take thousands of generations, not decades. But here's what's strange. Scientists have found evidence that human evolution didn't just continue after we became modern, it sped up. A 2007 study analyzing genetic markers across populations found evidence that human evolution accelerated roughly 100 times faster over the last 40,000 years compared to earlier periods. That's not gradual drift. That's an anomaly. Something changed the rules, and we still don't fully understand why. Now think about lactose tolerance. For most of human history, adults couldn't digest milk. Only babies could. Then, roughly 7,500 to 10,000 years ago, something changed. A single genetic mutation let some populations drink milk into adulthood. Today, over 1/3 of adults worldwide carry that mutation. In genetic terms, that's spread in the blink of an eye. That's not slow, grinding evolution. That's evolution moving at the speed of culture itself. Then there's high-altitude adaptation. Tibetan populations living above 4,000 meters carry a gene variant, EPA-S1, that helps their blood handle low oxygen. Researchers trace that gene back to interbreeding with Denisovans, an extinct human relative, tens of thousands of years ago. What's strange is how fast it spread once conditions demanded it. Populations adapted to literally breathe differently within a few thousand years. Not millions, thousands. And here's where it gets stranger. In 2007, two anthropologists, John Hawkes and Gregory Cochrane, published research that should have rewritten the textbooks. They didn't just find evolution continuing, they found it accelerating dramatically, driven by population growth itself. More humans meant more mutations appearing simultaneously across the species. More mutations meant more raw material for natural selection to work with. Hawkes calculated that beneficial mutations were appearing and spreading at a rate unlike anything seen earlier in human history. He proposed something radical, that agriculture, disease, and dense living didn't slow evolution down. They floored the accelerator. And if that's true, the disturbing question isn't whether humans are still evolving, it's how fast we're evolving right now without most of us noticing at all. More evidence keeps stacking up. Malaria resistance is one of the clearest examples. The sickle cell trait, which protects against malaria, spread through parts of Africa in as little as a few thousand years, an evolutionary blink. Then there's disease resistance tied to the Black Death. Researchers studying medieval burial sites found that survivors of the 14th century plague carried gene variants, including one called ERAP2, at significantly higher rates than victims. That means a single catastrophic event reshaped the genetic makeup of entire populations in one generation. And there's brain-related genetic change. Some studies have found variants linked to neural development that show signs of recent selection, though scientists still debate exactly what they do. Taken together, it looks less like humans stopped evolving and more like we're mid-sprint in a race most of us don't know we're running. But here's where it gets complicated. Because almost all of this has a far less dramatic explanation Then evolution went into overdrive. Let's go back to the acceleration study. Hawks and Cochrane weren't wrong about the math, but population size explains most of the effect. More humans simply means more chances for random mutations to appear. That's not evolution speeding up. That's a bigger lottery with more tickets. Lactose tolerance wasn't some leap forward either. It's a textbook case of simple, strong, selective pressure. Herding cultures that could digest milk got more calories and survived famines better. One trait, one clear advantage, spreading in a small window. Not proof of acceleration everywhere, just proof it works fast when the payoff is big enough. The Tibetan altitude gene isn't a sign of new powers emerging. It's ancient genetic material, inherited from Denisovans, that simply became useful again once humans moved somewhere it mattered. Old code, new environment, and plague resistance. Brutal, yes, but simple math. If a disease kills 30 to 50% of a population based on one gene, survivors carrying that gene will dominate the next generation. That's not mysterious. That's the oldest rule in biology, just witnessed at unusually high speed because the death toll was catastrophic. That's the uncomfortable, unglamorous truth behind most humans are evolving faster headlines. Not magic, just bigger populations, bigger death tolls, and bigger sample sizes making ordinary evolution easier to detect. So the mystery should be solved. Bigger numbers, not faster mechanisms. Case closed. Except for one detail scientists still can't fully explain. It's called the cultural evolution problem. Human evolution isn't running on one track anymore. It's running on two at the same time, and they interact in ways researchers still don't fully understand. Genes change over generations, but culture, technology, and shared knowledge now change within a single lifetime, and they're actively reshaping which genes get selected for. Some researchers argue this creates something called gene-culture coevolution, where a cultural shift, like farming or medicine, changes the environment fast enough to accelerate genetic selection almost in real time. Lactose tolerance is the textbook example, but scientists still debate how many other traits are being shaped this same way right now, silently, without a single headline. Not proof that evolution has become something new, but not nothing either. It suggests we may be living inside a feedback loop no other species has ever experienced. Our inventions changing our environment changing our genes shaping the next generation of inventors. Every other species on this planet evolves in response to a world it didn't create. A car engine has no unknown regions. A wolf pack doesn't invent the winter that shapes it. Humans might be the first species in history whose evolution is being steered, even partly, by its own choices. Maybe that's the real unease. Not that evolution sped up once, thousands of years ago, but that we may be sitting inside an accelerating loop right now, one we started ourselves without ever agreeing to run it. We spent centuries trying to understand where we came from. Now we're realizing we might be actively deciding where we're still going. So the next time you wonder why allergies are rising, why certain diseases hit some populations harder than others, or why some traits seem to spread faster than they should, ask yourself the question nobody has a clean answer for. Are we still evolving because nature demands it? Or because we built a world that won't stop asking us to?